Welcome to Long Brothers Reviews, the show where sibling rivalry meets the cinema. As two brothers rate and debate movies past, present, and coming soon. That is my brother Todd.
And that's my brother Mike, and today's film is Unfriended, starring a bunch of kids you've never heard of and directed by Levon Gabriadze.
This week's order was determined by the cold hand of fate. So Todd, you're up first.
Cyberbullying's a bad thing. We're not going to dispute that. The problem with Unfriended, which is the latest film to tell us how bad it is that it takes a message that's already becoming a little bit tired and presents it in a way that's more annoying than it is suspenseful. The film is one long take that plays out over a computer monitor, so there are no cuts, no music, nothing that effectively builds the tension that you need in a horror or thriller type film. Instead, it tries to build that tension by showing us progress bars and buffering circles and frozen video, things that are frustrating but not fear-inducing. Ultimately, it's not a bad idea for a film, it's just very poorly executed, and that's why I'm saying skip it.
Well, there's some things in there I agree with and disagree with. We'll talk in a minute.
Yeah.
If you live much of your life online, you're going to get unfriended, and you're going to find it pretty scary at times, I think. But after it's over, you'll realize that it wasn't as good as you thought. It doesn't stand up to scrutiny. At the heart of it, it's just a monster movie, only the monster lives online. The point of those pictures is that the monster has a weakness, and to survive, the teenagers, it's always teenagers, have to figure it out. There's nothing to figure out here. The master is omnipotent. He just toys with them for 82 minutes, a very short picture, until he kills them all. I'm telling you the ending, and that's it. The end. If you like to watch supernatural entities do target practice in a barrel for an hour and a half, be my guest. Otherwise, skip this one.
If you want to have a successful horror film, there's a couple of things you need. One, like I mentioned a second ago, you've got to have something that builds the tension. You are literally watching a computer monitor for an hour and 22 minutes here. It does not change from this shot, except for maybe you'll see a different number of Skype windows, and they'll change position depending on how many people are talking. The other thing you need is you have to have sympathy for the people who are being harassed by the monster or the villain. And it is impossible to have sympathy for the kids in this. They are just not likable. And it's not just because of the cyberbullying that this whole thing revolves around. It's just they're narcissistic. They're just not likable people.
This is not the first picture to try to do it all on a computer screen, despite the press on this. The best film to do this, and the only one I'm aware of, so that makes it the best, was The Den. That's from 2013. It's available on Netflix. It's a much better picture than this. Modern Family did it on television just a few weeks ago. That was a tour de force, and there is a video that floats along with it online that explains how they did it. It was wildly complex, and it's much better than this.
And if you watch the Modern Family episode, yes, it's a comedy, not a thriller. It effectively builds tension around Haley, who is the character that the family was kind of worried. They thought she had run off to Vegas and gotten married. It effectively builds tension, and it did it by not sticking on just one person's computer screen. It would go to somebody's phone. It would go to somebody's chat window. It constantly moved around, and it didn't waste any time. It was just boom, 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 boom.
And you really hit the nail on the head from a storytelling perspective, is that I'm going to call it a picture. The Modern Family picture worked because there was immediate establishment of tension and stakes. We knew something might be wrong with Haley being a comedy. We knew it wasn't going to be tragic, but we were invested in this character. That never really happens here because you said they're so unlikable. I don't think you have to have music and lighting and all those things necessarily to make it tense. I like to see people work with whatever tools they have. So I can't fault it for that, but I will agree with you that they didn't use it all to very good purpose, and especially the pixelating and the breaking up. That's not tension building. I was just like, I can get that watching porn at home.
They even did that as the Universal logo was spinning in at the beginning of the film. They did the pixelating, and I first thought, well, is something wrong with the projector? If I owned Skype, and Skype's not sponsoring this show, but we use it and we're grateful for it. If they want to sponsor us,
they should. We love Skype.
I would be really irritated with this film because the film gives the impression that 6 people having a Skype conversation in the same community can't do it without an incredible amount of interference and static.
And think of how out of proportion the punishment is. This ghost, we'll call it, this ghost in the machine, ooh, nice touch, is killing them, not just for cyberbullying, but for hiding things that any human being would hide. Oh, one of them has slept once with somebody else's boyfriend. Well, okay. Is that worth killing them over when you're 19 or 17 or whatever? Somebody put a nasty remark about somebody on a poster somewhere. Really? And so they put their hand in a blender as penance for this?
We have 6 high school kids who are at home alone. It's about 10 o'clock at night, and we know it's a school night because at one point a reminder pops up on the computer monitor to remind one of the girls whose computer we're watching through this whole thing that she has a test the next day. None of their parents are home. One of the kids, he's playing with a gun and belting scotch back the whole time. He's in front of his parents' fireplace, just going to town. Where are the parents? It's one thing, okay, maybe one of them does shift work or something. And so, but for all,
shift work.
For 12 adults to all be out on the same night. It's just a little ridiculous.
Maybe one of them does shift work.
I can understand one of them, one of the 12 not being there. I'll give you that.
Everybody works 3 to 11.
He's got the graveyard shift.
There's a place here, and since I've given away the ending, none of this matters. They see one of their friends die on camera, or at least appear to be dead. Now, the notion is you would leap from wherever you are and go and do something about this. Their conversation consists of, do you think she's okay? I think they're okay. And then, the police have this one. Let's go on with our weird conversation. Nobody ever thinks to just unplug the machine, although we figure out later you can unplug the machine. The monster is omnipotent, omniscient. You can close your eyes and stand on your head and the monster will still appear. The monster can't be defeated. It's stupid.
The monster also controls Fresno, California's 911 system.
Yes.
Because at one point, they're going to call 911 because they think something's happened to one of their friends. And they call and they say, oh, well, what's your emergency? Oh, well, our friend something's happened. Oh, well, where's your friend live? Okay, well, I warned you this would happen if you hung up. And they realize they're talking to the monster or whatever it is again. I'm like, really? It controls the 911 system for Fresno, California.
You get one piece of magic in a movie. One piece of magic, and that's it. Maybe he can control the 911. Okay, maybe he can take away your control of your computer when it's unplugged. Okay, but you can't have all of those things.
Yeah.
You get one piece of magic, and as soon as it crosses into 2, it loses believability, even the ability to suspend disbelief in another realm. Well, that's it for this episode. Thanks for watching. Check us out on Facebook and Twitter to find more, or just hang around our houses at night and look in the windows.
That's a good idea. So until next time, that's my brother Mike.
And that's my brother Todd saying, what does Marcellus Wallace look like?